So I turned 50 in January, and prior to that, I found probably in my late 30s that I started putting on a bit of weight, and it wasn't much. I didn't really worry about it, to be really honest. People had said when you hit 30, everything changes, and I thought, well, this is just normal. And it steadily crept up from my 40 to 50. Now, I'm going to be really honest, it's not a lot compared to some people, but it's more than others. So I think I probably gained about 7 kilos by the time I came to you guys. And I can appreciate that for some people, that isn't a lot. But for me, at the age of 50, and when I was 50 kilos at 40, that felt like a lot. And I was carrying it all around my middle. And I tried various kind of weight loss reduction diet plans, different coaches online, and they all had some measure of success, but not what I had hoped it would do. So I think I can't remember now, I think I filled in a form, sent it off. I got contacted by Charlotte, who arranged for sort of a half an hour, 40-minute chat with her to see if you guys would work for me. And I think, frankly, if I would work for you, because it's not just about one person, it's two different people working together. I am incredibly cynical. So I'm like, well, we'll see what they've got to say. And Charlotte ticked all my boxes. And I kind of thought, well, I can't hate her because she's delightful. And she said one thing to me that actually almost made me tear up. So I can appreciate my weight gain isn't a lot compared to others. And I said to her, people always say, oh, you're not fat, you're not overweight, you're not putting on size. And she said to me that it's about being heard. And she was absolutely right in that, yes, it's only 7 kilos, but they're my 7 kilos that I don't like. And everyone's going, oh, you look fine. I don't think I look fine. I don't think I feel fine. So it was the first person to kind of go, I see you, I hear you, I see where you're coming from. And that's pretty much what made me kind of go, where do I sign?
Tell me, what results have you created over the last 12 weeks?
Physically, I think I've dropped a size. I have a skirt that I used to wear probably in my late 30s that I got from some really trashy thrift shop in New York, and it now fits me. And it didn't before, or it fitted, but rather than fitting low, it fits really high up because everything's a bit thick around the waist. So that fits me better. And that's the skirt I go back to that Sarah advised when I look at the numbers and the scale numbers aren't dropping, because I know it's not about the number. In my head, I know that. I know it's about what I look and what I feel like. But we're so ingrained that number is the biggest thing that I'm like, I've only lost 0.1 of a kilo. And I'm like, hold on, where's the skirt? The skirt fits. Sod the numbers. And then changing my eating habits. I always ate fairly healthy before, but I ate a lot of white food in terms of the color. So white bread, white rice, which I still do. I can still have. I think one of the meals I have is rice noodles, but it's trying to change white to brown. So brown bread, brown rice, things like maybe more spelt. So that sort of food. So that's a change I've had too. And over the past 11 to 12 weeks, I now don't necessarily have to weigh everything I'm eating.
Yes.
I know that one chicken breast is approximately what I should be having. So that's quite nice. You learn and get the confidence to be able to look at your food and go, I know that's about a cup of broccoli or something. And realistically, there's almost nothing in broccoli. So if I double it, that's fine too.
You've created such incredible transformation through losing that, that midsection that so many women believe that they have to settle for, having, that belly fat and having to settle for it. But actually, when you're following the right protocols through your training load and your food intakes, your body will metabolize fat around this area. It's not a stubborn area when you've got the right protocols in place. And your before and afters are such a great reflection of that, because you've lost 6 centimeters from your waist. It's a substantial amount, and we can see it in those images. Like you're sitting leaner, tighter, more toned. So I want to highlight that. What would you say to somebody that's trying to decide, who to choose and where to go, and maybe somebody that's a bit nervous about getting started?
I would probably write down the most important questions to you and get those answered. And for me, it was about talking to Charlotte and realizing she wasn't full of something, that she was actually a real person, and things she was saying, I didn't feel like I was being led down a garden path, or I didn't feel like it was a line. I felt like it was genuinely the truth. And that, yes, we have to acknowledge that I am paying for a service, but these people really do care that my results, I get the results and I succeed. And that is the huge difference between just handing over money to an online thing and paying, you know, for help and support and this coaching for someone that genuinely does care about your results, as a person, as a woman. So that was absolutely massive. But I think write down the questions that are really important to you, and be realistic. Can I lose 10 kilos a week? No, absolutely not. Ask those questions. But for me, it was really about how I felt about Charlotte and how she would just, she ticked all the boxes for me in terms of not being cynical, acknowledging that my weight gain was my weight gain and it belonged to me, and no one could say, yeah, well, I've got 50 kilos to lose. Well, there's nothing, but they're my kilos.
Yes.
So it really was a feel for the person I spoke to. And I think had that not have been there, I would have been on to someone else.
I think another question women tend to wonder is the sustainability piece, and how you found actually going through the journey and implementing and managing it alongside everyday life.
I think I hit a point where I thought I've got to do something for my mental health, for how I feel, how I look, how I feel I look, and how that's impacting me. I think that most people don't enter these sorts of programs until you know that you're actually ready to do it. It's like quitting smoking. You'll do it when you want to. If you never want to do it, it's never going to happen. So for me, I really wanted to do something. So I was halfway there. The meal plans have been great. And Sarah's been like, if you don't like chicken, don't have chicken. Change it for something else that has the micros, and the macros are very similar. The lovely thing about, or the easy thing about implementing it, is that I could chop and change as to what I did or didn't like. For some people, following it gram by gram, ingredient by ingredient will work for them. But to be able to chop and change that really did help. And one thing I found really helpful as well is talking about how I eat. So I like a big meal in the morning because I exercise in the morning. Then I'm not really hungry till 3 or 4. So my lunch was a lot smaller in terms of micros, macros, and calories. And then I had a bigger dinner. So it wasn't, you must eat 3 square meals. It was, how do you like to eat? What works for you?
And with the food piece, it's about being able to work with you and your individual relationship with food. And that's very unique to each individual woman, which is
really
why
important.
Having bespoke support is essential to crack this, because everybody is so different. So I'm so glad that's been beneficial for you through the journey. What we like to be able to teach throughout this journey is what is healthy and balanced, and what does that look like for you? So when you leave, you're not beating yourself up for eating.
No, absolutely.
But you're also not hyper restrictive on the other end. You're in that middle piece that we believe and redeem to be healthy and balanced. And that's so important for your freedom and quality of life.